Hola, buen dia. My name is Jacob Weitzman, and I am a University of Virginia student. This is my International Study Abroad Office Scholarship Correspondent video submission, in which I am going to talk a little bit about my experiences so far while abroad in Peru. And speaking of Peru, here it is on a map. Peru is a country on the western coast of South America, and the program that I am participating in is home based in Cuzco, which is a city in the Andean Mountains in southern Peru. After we arrived in Cusco via the airport, the program actually took us to the Sacred Valley, which is about an hour and a half away from the actual city of Cusco, in order to better adjust to the elevation of the city of Cusco. Cusco City actually sits at about 11 to 12,000 feet elevation, and to give you some perspective, the city of Charlottesville sits at about 500 feet elevation, and the Sacred Valley sits at about 8,000 to 9,000 feet elevation. So the Sacred Valley was a good place for students who were not used to higher elevations to better adjust. So then when we did arrive in Cusco, it was still a little bit more difficult to breathe. You would quickly run out of breath when walking just a block or two, where you would not normally run out of breath if you were in Charlottesville, for example. So being in the Sacred Valley allowed us to better adjust to the altitude of Cusco. And when we finally arrived in Cusco, we were exploring the city. This is a picture from the Plaza de Armas, which is the main plaza of Cusco. And one thing that we are focusing on this semester is learning more about the history of Peru, and specifically Cusco. This is a photo of Coricancha, which is a museum in the city center. And here are some Incan ruins within that museum. If you look to the right, you can see that that wall of the Incan structure is slanted. That's actually not an accident. The Incans built their structures this way in order to cope with the earthquakes that were prone to South America at the time. And on a completely separate note, this is actually the road where I live on. I am actually living with a Cuscanian family through a homestay type of setup. And this is the view from my bedroom. It's overlooking the part of the city called Marcavalle, which is where my family lives. And that's actually where I'm sitting right now. And the homestay has been an adjustment. It's much different than living in a dormitory or living in an apartment and doing your own thing. Thankfully, the family who I live with is incredibly generous. They've taught me so much about their culture, their city, Spanish, especially. The food is also very delicious. However, when I'm not eating delicious food at my homestay, I'm either at classes Monday through Friday, or we are on field trips, if you will, throughout the Cusco region of Peru, visiting different archaeological sites such as this one in Pisac, or this one overlooking the city of Ollantaytambo. And while in Ollantaytambo, there was actually a local dance competition among the schools in the area. We then visited a Quechua-speaking indigenous community deep within the Andean Mountains, where they showed us how they made colors out of plants for their clothes, and they talked to us about how they live. And the following day, we hiked the Incan Trail for about 6 hours up to Machu Picchu. This is just one of the stops along the way, another Incan archaeological site overlooking the beautiful Andean Mountains. And when we finally walked into Machu Picchu, it was an extraordinary sight. The city is much larger than I thought, and it was built on the side of a mountainside. It's hard to explain in words, but it was a very rewarding experience having learned about it extensively in books and actually getting able to see it and feel the stonework is very amazing. So back in Cusco now, we have a full slate of classes for the next couple weeks. Classes include Spanish, Quechua, history of Peru, globalization, research methods. So we'll be busy with homework and exams and whatnot for the next couple weeks until our next field trip. So until then, I want to thank you for watching this video. It's part 1 of 2 for the scholarship correspondence videos. And muchas gracias y hasta luego.